This is a clip from the Red Cow Arcade podcast.
You got something in your hands there?
Oh yeah, I do. It's the Analogue Pocket. I'll talk about this for a second. It's great. It's great for Game Boy games, especially. It's got the 4:3 screen. It's like 1600 pixels by something. It's very got a really good DPS, so it's very beautiful, and plays the Game Boy carts and Game Boy Advance. What I will say, so this is a recreation of basically the Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance architecture, not using software emulation, but using like a hardware. It's recreated through hardware. So it's emulated that way instead of with just software.
Yeah.
So what I will say is that the Game Boy Advance stuff is not that great because it's a 4:3 screen.
Right.
But I got the dock with this as well, and when you dock it and go through the HDMI to a screen, it's probably the most beautiful way to play Game Boy Advance games that I've ever done. It's so good. And then I play with an 8-bit DO controller too, and it has Bluetooth, so it's perfect. And the controls on these were designed by 8-bit DO, so it's like, even the Ambernick machines, they're good. They're almost like, up to 8-bit DO quality, but not quite. But you can tell that these are just on another level.
8-bit DO came out with a handheld emulator about a year ago, and that was the thing that made me go, oh wait, maybe the GPD XD is not really the handheld for me. And of course the Ambernick devices hadn't started coming out yet. So I was I remember it was like $90, and I think it's still on the market, and I was so ready to buy it. I think it was called the SN Pro, or it was some offshoot of their product line names. And but it turned out like people generally don't like it. Like it's one of the cheaper, flimsier ones, and it's very underpowered. And then I just stumbled upon Ambernick, which seemed to really nail it.
Yeah, and so every single influencer, nano influencer even, has done a review on this. You've probably seen thumbnails with this stupid thing.
I watched them all too. Somehow they got me. I'm like, all right, I'll stay. And they get real close to selling it to me too, but I can't take the plunge, man. Because you ordered that before you discovered this boom of this revolution of handheld emulators, right?
Yeah, so this was before, and I almost ordered it as a joke because I wanted to do a sequel to the Shrek video, which was last year, and earlier last year, and now that I have it, I'm like, why did I order this thing? But it's good. Like the thing is, it is good. It's
I'm sure it's if you've already invested the money and it's already on its way to your house, you're not going to be like, oh, why is it coming? Because you'll find a way to love it. But I think if you have not ordered it already, and it sounds like they're already out of supply, and it's $700 to get one on eBay, and to me, I'm just like, what games are you playing on this again? Game Boy games?
I'm playing Donkey Kong.
Yeah, these are guys I get it. They have made a luxury experience for playing Donkey Kong 94, but it need not.
Which is it is a really good experience.
Well, yes, but the game itself is good. I mean, I do struggle to understand why it needs to be so good.
If you don't have a bunch of cards lying around, if you don't have an EverDrive, I would say don't bother. And obviously if you haven't ordered it already, you can't bother. But
if you're a Game Boy, if you're like, I love the Game Boy, I have a lot of Game Boy games, I love all my Game Boy games, I want the ultimate Game Boy, and I got money to spend, and I would add on top of that, because I would think okay, you know what system does kind of deserve a premium experience? The GBA. GBA is kind of next level stuff. And yet, for some reason, they didn't tailor the screen to that resolution.
Yeah. But I will say, playing on a big screen with the dock and an 8-bit DO controller is so luxurious. And I was playing the Super Mario 3 port with all of the built-in levels, it was a dream.
Yeah.
We had our clip where it's like the Wii U, the best experience you can play with Super Mario 3. It's like, no, this is scratch that. This was the best because one, I had a card that I've already scanned all the cards in back in when I don't know what I was in college probably at the time, and so it's a. I already have the ROM. It's on my card.
You have an exceedingly rare experience. You have that cart. You have it scanned in from that period of time.
Yeah, I don't think I have those cards anymore. I've looked for them. I can't find them.
Well, that's cool. I
I
admit that I'm envious. It's hard for me to watch those videos and not want yet another Tinker Toy. But I actually only had 2 Game Boy games for a really long time. 6 Golden Coins and Kirby's Dream Land. And I didn't know as a child, like, no, you've got like the top 3 Game Boy games. Those really are the best ones. Unless you're a Pokemon person, which I'm not, but I did play, you know what? Red and Blue, I played on my PC, my Windows 98 PC. I think it was the first thing I ever emulated. And I was like, wow, I can just download this instead of like doing what Keith's doing, like investing all this money into this whole adventure.
You have to buy the red version, the blue version. I can just download
Couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I remember I actually downloaded Pokemon Gold and Silver on ROMs before they were even in America.
Wow.
And I remember that being like mind blowing.
I swear that kind of stuff, that is memorable stuff. That's the kind of stuff that starts careers. That's the kind of stuff that makes you go like, I love computers and I love getting away with things and I love technology and what I can import. I think a lot of people like their discovery of anime, for instance, like, oh, I can watch this whole entertainment industry that's not made for me via the computer. Kirby's Dream Land's the first one. It's really good. You can't suck the powers like you do in the future installments. It's pretty easy. That's true. And it's short, but at the end they tell you how to get extra game. You can press a button combination, get extra game. And it's very, very hard. And I tried to play it a bit and it was really very difficult. And I didn't realize that you're a big Lolo fan. There's a whole level in there called Lolo's Castle, and you fight Lolo.
Yeah, Lo and La La La.
Yes. See, you're on top of this.
They changed it slightly, but because they were made by the same company, the HAL
Labs, so. Exactly. But you had suggested Kirby's Dream Land 2 last time we talked about Kirby. And so I was like, you know what? Everybody's playing Game Boy this week. I'll pop in Kirby's Dream Land 2 because I never played it. I played the first one 1 trillion times and never played the second one. I really liked it. It kind of fit this nice little slot in my life of like pick up and play, balanced challenge, not quite as easy as the first one, not as ridiculous as Extra Game. And it has the powers mechanic, but it's not like constant. It's not like a major mechanic in the game. It only comes up every once in a while. They introduced the idea of like more mini bosses. They're a bit more challenging. You can't just stand in front of a boss and suck air and get all of their projectiles and throw them back. You have to time those a bit better. And then they have like you can jump on a hamster and you can become a fish and
and then the powers kind of transfer over to the fish and the owl and stuff, and
so you have to get those things.
So there's like combinations, and then there's secrets that if you have the right combination you can get those secrets.
I thought it was really cool. I really like it, and when I play with my handheld or I played most of it on the Super Console X with my Xbox controller. I really find the Xbox 360 controller to be a great control, like all-purpose controller. And I know that the Analogue Pocket is like this too. You can set it to like green, like the original Game Boy. You can set it to like just black and white, just totally monochrome, or you can do like colorized, the colored after the fact. And I actually choose the colorized typically.
Yeah, I played it a lot. It's probably one of my top 10 Game Boy games. Like it stands up there with Link's Awakening to me because
super good.
It's got a good hook. It's not too easy and it's not too challenging, and it's just fun. It's just I think those early Kirby games are where it's at. Like where especially Kirby's Adventure and Kirby's Dream Land 2 are my favorites of the Kirby series.
Yeah, they're really
they just feel like the right balance.
They're exceptional. Especially like because you and I, with all of our retro gaming options, we dabble in many more games than we ever have previously. And you do start to realize, you're like, man, the difficulty level on a lot of these games is really the problem. Like, they're either ridiculous or non-functioning or bad, and Kirby is like, somebody had said, they were like, well, those games are really easy though. And I was like, yeah, you know what? I'd rather it just be a little too easy than like, this ridiculous.
Because sometimes you don't want to spam the save states, Yeah. Sometimes it's like that's frustrating. You just want to play through.
I actually tried. I have an ethic around save states that I've tried to establish. I don't know if you feel the same way, but
I don't.
Instead of spamming it, so that all I'm doing is just cheating my way through for like.
I have no shame at this point. My kids.
Well, there's time. I mean, there's a time and a place for that. Contra Hardcore is it?
Yes, that is absolutely it.
But I mean, that's a game that probably is more appropriate for the rewind function, because you'll get fucked in a bad spot with your save state probably. But I tried it. The ethic is like, try to play without it, but it's free reign to use the save state if like to prevent you from having to like relitigate an entire section that is kind of just like unfair of the game to make you do that. You're like, look, I know I can get through this. I just don't really have the time to grind it,
Yeah.
So when you play Donkey Kong 94 on your Analogue Pocket, are you playing the colorized? Is it black and white? What is it?
So there's a couple different options here. So let me pull it up. You have what they call like the analog, which is very contrasty. It's black and white. Then they have the puke green one.
Does anybody actually do that? I mean, I know nostalgia.
I don't
but,
think so.
Yeah.
I don't want to. It's not appealing. I had the original Game Boy and I never liked it. Yeah. Like, I liked the games, but I didn't like this whatever it's going on here. I always liked, this is pretty good too. This is the Game Boy Pocket colorization, which is similar to the. But it's a little more contrasty. I like it because you can actually see the individual like pixel cells or whatever that they have. And then they also have like, this is the Game Boy Light, which is kind of more like a bright green. And then this is just like, I don't know, the developers were trying to make it look like the Virtual Boy or like a pinball machine or something.
Yeah.
I think that was just an experiment for fun. But I play it on just the normal like
monochrome
contrasty one. That it just looks better. Because I feel like these games have transcended beyond their hardware.
Yeah.
Where we don't have to emulate the hardware exactly.
yeah, for sure.
Just make them look like how you imagine them to look.
I had heard, I think it was Scott the Waz who said this. He did a video about emulation that I liked. And he was saying that like the first time he played Super Mario Kart, it was emulated via a virtual console or something. And he was like, he like wasn't connecting with the game at all. He was like, this is obviously just outdated and shitty. And then he played it on a Super Nintendo a few months later, and he was like, oh, like I actually kind of get the game now. Like and I know that sounds kind of corny, but I do agree that sometimes, playing it on the original hardware puts you in the right mindset, Maybe.
No, I agree with that. And there is something to the original palettes. And what actually is interesting, when I play Game Boy Color games, they recreate the palette like so exactly, like even like each pixel, it has you can see the individual like red, green, and blue or whatever it is, in every single pixel. Like they recreate it exactly, and there is some merit to that one because it actually looks pretty good. Like it's like because the pixel density is so good on the screen, they can do that.
Yeah.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.